judging by what Gerwyn Price did in the semi-final. I was here sitting with Dan Dawson watching that, and it was just at times mesmeric.
96.
Price averaging more than 112 in that stunning win against White, taking it 7-3. Meanwhile, Heta was beating Krzysztof Ratajski 7-2. A very dominant display from Damon.
21.
What's encouraging for Damon, though, is that at times today he has not played his best, but has still won. And you brought up that statistic that nobody's got within 2 of him, which makes what he's done today even more impressive. But he lost on his debut at the Winter Gardens to Michael van Gerwen, even with a 6-4 lead at the break after 10 legs. But I think when you analyse his form over the last 3 months, he's not been getting the results that he's used to. He's had to work very, very hard to get to a final
58.
again. And now he's going to have to work harder still if he wants a second ranked title.
And it could be the first of many meetings in the next few months between this pair. I've been looking back through what's been happening today, Paul, but you've been looking into the future, haven't you?
97.
I'm always looking into the future. Gerwyn Price's #1 spot in the world is up for grabs before the World Championship,
96.
of course. But Damon Heta is going to represent Australia for a second time at the World Cup. And Australia and Wales, for me, are 2 of the real big hitters in that tournament in Jena, Germany.
They could definitely meet there. Could meet at the European Tour. In fact, are seeded to meet at the European Tour.
Yeah, we'll delve into that in the next leg. We'll just see if Price can get treble 17, and he can't.
91.
These are the chances that Heta needs to take. He's been a last dart ninja at times today. And usually that last dart's at double 16. So the 51 will leave that. Oh, and he gets it as well. He's out of rhythm. But it doesn't matter. It's a beautiful shot from Heta, and he's going to need lots of that in a race to 8.
Yeah, he was mustard on that double 16 in the semi-final. In the early part of it anyway, when he got away from Krzysztof Ratajski, he missed a few darts at it later on, but it didn't matter by then.
Yeah, talking about the European Tour in September, of course, we're going to Budapest and Gibraltar. And if you think they're going to be contrasting climates, you'll be wrong. It's probably going to be warmer in Budapest.
55.
But both of these guys are going to be seeded for those 2 events. The Iceman is going to be seeded 5th. Damo's going to be seeded 12th, which means that if they both win their match
96.
on the Saturday, they're scheduled to meet on the Sunday afternoon in both tournaments. So this could be a precursor, potentially, for, like you say, Murph, many meetings at the end of 2021.
4 times they've met before, and 4 times Gerwyn Price has run out the winner, including in a final of one of these Pro Tour events last November.
60.
Winning that one 8-6. Heta went on to reach the final of Players' Championship 4 as well, where he was beaten by Price's Welsh World Cup winning teammate Johnny Clayton by the same scoreline.
Just another reason why it could be Wales and Australia again. They've got history in the World Cup, whether it's Bates and Webster against
60.
Nicholson and Whitlock, whether it's Webster and Burnett against Whitlock and Nicholson, or whether it's Heta and Whitlock against Price and Clayton.
40.
There's a really, really good rivalry between the 2 countries, and I'd love to see them go at it in a final.
Well, Heta has a chance here to double his lead and really take a stronghold in this match.
It's a different pace, this game. 98. You can tell already that Price is really, really wanting to get to the oche, but Heta's not going to be rushed.
100.
Well, in no rush, but on the brink of racing into a 2-0 lead. And it is that double 16 again, and it's there again. And Gerwyn Price is going to have work to do in this final. Has had work to do throughout the day, Gerwyn Price. It hasn't all been blowing his opponents away. In the
91.
quarter-final against Cannon Ridds, he found himself 5-2 behind and had to win the last 4 legs, surviving a dart at the bullseye from Ridds in the midst of that great escape.
Sometimes you can look at the stats on Dark Connect and think that Price has dominated his opponents, but that's not the case. You bring up that Ridds match. He did face a match start there at the bullseye.
100.
He's fortunate to have got through that last 8 match, but 103 average for the day, 21 80s, and lots to cheer about. But a high finish of the day, somewhat surprisingly for these
140.
two, of under 120. 112 for Damon and 117 for the Iceman. You would expect at this portion of the day that would have maybe clocked a 120 or a 125, something like that.
Interestingly, Gerwyn Price is looking to win his 20th PDC title if he gets over the line in this match. Had the opportunity to do it, of course, 59. When he returned from his unwanted break. Of course, unfortunate for the world champion to miss the Premier League, but he lost in a final to Joe Cullen on return. Hasn't actually won a title since March now, the world number 1.
Has won a couple of titles in 2021, though, and one of them was pretty useful. Back on January the 3rd. Needs a bit of a catalyst here, 58. You feel, Price. He looks a little flat in this final. Needs a bit of a boost. This could help. 54 for tops. And that first start is not as accurate
96.
as it was on this very board in the semi-final. This would really sting for a second break. And it's not going to happen.
We don't see Price in this position
58.
very often. Double 16 and double 8 are not his doubles of choice. And he runs into trouble on it. And Heta has a golden opportunity here to get a double breaker throw.
What can 89 leave? Double 16. But it's not going to be double 16. It's going to be the red bit in the middle. Oh, look at that for a middle shot. Ooh, centre hole from Damon Heta. That was hot as you like. And even he was impressed by it. That was as good a bullseye as you will find.
Well, Gerwyn Price is muttering away to himself. That bullseye hit by Heta
139.
will have felt to Gerwyn Price like he'd just had a bull charge up and knock him over.
Sometimes
100.
you let a dart go and you think, it might go in the bullseye, that one. But sometimes, quite rarely, because it doesn't happen all the time, you let one go and you know halfway that that is right in the middle. Somewhat different on this visit, though. Well,
I just wonder if it can act as a red rag
20.
to Gerwyn Price, because he does sometimes need a bit of anger, a bit of aggression in his game to get himself going.
He needs that first start to keep going there, because look what happens when he finds it. Everything compacts. It's as if he finds the first dart and then the target changes. He tries to smack it into the barrel and the flight and just let it nestle naturally. Just like this.
140.
You mentioned the pace as early as the first leg, Paul, and I've noticed that Gerwyn Price has thrown a couple of glances, shall we say, towards Damon Heta when he's been throwing.
95.
Often when he's stepped across to readjust because it slowed down the pace even more. But he's not doing anything different to what he would normally do, is he?
Not at all. Not at all. And of course it was the game with Dimitri Vandenberg at the World Match Play. Of course, Damon Heta's housemate, where things were talked about. But I think it just highlights that Gerwyn is more comfortable playing a faster player, and he is challenged more when he's playing someone who is a little bit slower.
I'd love to see this go in treble 10, and it has. For 2 darts at his favourite. No doubt about the outcome. And Heta has earned himself a 4-leg lead against the world number 1.
How central was that double 16? He's not hitting
43.
the corners of these doubles. He's hitting the centre of the pitch. Well, to coin a phrase by famous Australian rules commentator Dennis Cometti, centimetre perfect.
Certainly has been so far, and Price needs to raise his game somewhat.
134.
Interesting. Is it becoming something that the players we'll think about other players who maybe don't always play at the pace of Heta and Vandenberg and the like, because Price does seem to struggle with it.
59.
It's not so much the fact that Gerwyn Price is the fastest thrower in the world, but he's very, very, how can I put this? He's almost impatient to get to the hockey. He's always wanting to be throwing. He doesn't want to be stood watching somebody else play.
There's lots of players like that. MVG's been accused of clicking people's heels. He doesn't physically hit them, but he gets to the hockey super, super
59.
quick. Now, when I was getting ready to come here today, there was a song on a playlist that just I've been trying to avoid since the match play, because I think Damo's going to have a new walk-on song when we go to Hungary. And it was by D-Ream, and he has his own hashtag now. Things can only get Heta. So
100.
I get the feeling he's going to be a crowd favourite if that happens. But 4-0 can turn into 4-1 if double 10 is found.
46.
He's in double fives, corner of the board. You can see how the Iceman feels about that. The head is scratched.
Yeah, he's wondering where it's gone. Gerwyn Price, that form that he produced in the semi-final when he obliterated Ian White, averaging 112. Not even reaching 90 in this one, but he does have a leg on the board.
Well, if you need a bit of a friend, why not find the double that got you your first world title? And I say your first world title because he is of an age and a belief level that more world titles will probably come.
139.
I know it's easy for us to say that, Murph, but with his skill level and his belief level, I'm pretty sure he's going to get another one. And he would be the first Welsh person to get a second.
Well, I'll tell you what as well, the race is on for the world #1 spot going into the Alexandra Palace, and it's an important one as well, because being seeded
100.
first means that you play the 4th seed in the semi-final should you get there, meaning avoiding Wright and Van Gerwen as it would be if he stays where he is in the semis. And picking up £10,000 in these events could play a big part in who is #1 between Wright and Price, as seems to be the case going into the World Championship.
That is very, very accurate. As was Damon Heta right there. As it stands in the world rankings, in a live
98.
sense, Gerwyn Price is on 1,300,000 exactly. 18 more. Decided to go the other way.
90.
Sensible. When you've got time, use it. Back yourself with the second visit. And we're starting to see the strengths of Heta. It's leaving 32. He is a double 16 merchant. And when you keep hitting it, keep leaving it.
Game shot.
And it's 5-1. He needs 3 more for a second ranking title.
Well, if your two strengths are leaving 32 and hitting 32, then it's quite a good plan, isn't it? And he's pulling it off so far.
140.
The heat is too hot for the Iceman.
Well, it's a battle of the mimics, isn't it?
100.
In another life, this was Alan Warren a little against Dennis Ovens.
Yeah, we could have had the Prince of Wales in the final today as well. Louis Williams ran all the way to the quarterfinals.
Well, movies, all we get is remakes these days. You know, they're remaking things like Baywatch and all sorts of movies and TV shows. Well,
96.
This is the second iteration of the Iceman versus the Heat.
So you'd be happy to see someone rock up with the asset printed on the back of their shirt, would you?
Nah, I'm sure that's not going to happen.
Well, Damon Heta is certainly an asset to the PDC Tour. Paul, you know well
98.
The Australian dart circuit, and many feel that he could go on and achieve as bigger things as anybody in this sport.
I think the way he plays the game
34.
and the poise and composure he's got, he could turn out to be the best Australian dart player of all time. And that's no disrespect whatsoever to Simon Whitlock. I think having Whitlock as part of the early part of his career will
93.
only inspire him even more. As Price goes for 7 and tops to start the fight back here. Great guide.
Game
well
shot.
found. But he's got to shorten this gap here. He cannot afford to let Heta re-establish that four-leg cushion.
Yeah, finding double top, though, will augur well for a potential comeback for Gerwyn
100.
Price, having failed to find it earlier in the match.
We can wax lyrical about what
81.
Price has done at this point of his career. And you mentioned that if he does win this game from 5-2 down, it would be his 20th PDC title. Now, if you win 20 events on the PGA Tour, you get a lifetime tour card.
140.
Imagine if they had that in darts. If you get to 20 titles, you won't ever have to go to Q school. You've always got a position on tour.
137.
As far as what Damon has done, he's in the infancy of his career, but he's got so much scope. I think he's already surpassed
140.
what Kyle Anderson's done in his career. He's a great friend, of course, back in Western Australia.
Yeah, maybe hasn't had a huge run in a big major TV event, but of course has won a televised tournament in the PDC back in Brisbane. Can't take aim back at the ball, but Price is on a big one here.
57.
This could be the moment that turns a match or not.
It's not going to happen. He can't mimic Peter Wright, because the 149 he hit against
99.
MVG at the Winter Gardens was the turning point for him.
I'll come back to that point in a second, because I think there's a point to be made about that match, but Heta wouldn't have wanted to be taking aim at double top here. It's usually Price's pal.
Game shot.
But Heta brings it home, and he's 2 legs away from bringing the title home.
That is such a big double. That will hurt Price, because he's just behind him thinking, you miss that, I get in, and I start tapping you on the shoulder. And you can sense on Price's face that that really did hurt a little bit.
59.
Yeah, the point I was going to make was sometimes people suggest that Players' Championship tournaments are not that important. Look, we're not saying that they are the same level as the World Match Play or the World Championship or anything like that, and playing well in these events is what qualifies you for those. But that match, the last one we had, the last final we commentated on between Peter Wright and Michael van Gerwen, I think had some bearing on what happened at the World Match Play.
I think it had a massive bearing. The confidence that Peter took from that win was enormous. And I've already talked about in the semi-final, as Price leaves 57 after 9, a brilliant, brilliant leg. He's going to need more of this. But I've already said that Price's preparation for his title defence at the Grand Prix is starting right here.
There's a comeback starting here. He's in tops again, but Heta very much on top in the match. He leads 6-3 and needs 2 more to win his 3rd PDC title. Yeah, you were saying about the confidence it gave Peter Wright, but also the confidence that it denied Michael van Gerwen, who's still titleless in 2021.
Don't underestimate from this position that Price can go a little bit bananas, because if he finds that first dart and starts banging in these maximums, Heta could be in a bit of trouble if he doesn't find a couple of hot legs.
59.
Well, Price carries on, fails at dart number 4, but it is a very good attempt at breaking Damon Heta's throw here. By the way, if you are just joining us, as you perhaps coming from work on a Monday evening and are wondering where Michael van Gerwen and Peter Wright are, well, we're both knocked out of the tournament in the first 3 rounds, but
42
with averages of 107 and 112. It's been one of those days, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Start of the day with 115 from Keegan Brown. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Check 168.
Oh, he's a lucky boy. He didn't bust it. And even that brings a smile to the world number 1's face. I actually thought at first he had bust it, but he's left a somewhat lucky 13.
100.
Well, you make your own luck. This would be for a break of throw. Price finds it. And if he holds here, he could claw himself back into contention and move within a leg of Damon Heta in this final.
He's not going to give up. You don't get to world #1 and world champion with a give-up mentality. What he's thinking to himself now, maybe, as his
80.
average does climb to that 100 mark, is I have to win from here 4-1.
Well, if he carries on playing like he is, I could see that happening, because the averages we just saw there show that
100.
Gerwyn Price's level has raised quite significantly, and Damon Heta's has at best stayed where it was.
I think they're very symptomatic of what's happened today as well.
137.
You look at Price coming into this final, 103 for the day, Heta 95 for the day. At times, maybe Damon has taken advantage of someone either tiring or having a bit of a lull
95.
in their game. He's taken advantage of that with Price in this final.
Just looks like Price is believing a little bit more than he did at the start of the match,
140.
when he was bothered by a slower pace, maybe a pace he wasn't expecting. But it reminds me a lot of that quarter-final against Callan Ridds, who is not a slow player by any stretch of the imagination.
171.
Wonderful shot by Heta.
How aggressive was that? The 25 was the defensive shot, but the 144 is possible. Double 12. Oh, that is absolutely supreme. And we get some volume from the Welshman. That is special, especially after the 171 from Heta. And this final is alive after 11.
Yeah, we certainly do have a
100.
final on our hands now. And the last time this pair met in a final, Gerwyn Price did win it by 8 legs to 6. That's what he's trying to do again.
180.
But don't forget, when Heta got to 6, Price was stuck on 2.
This is a very, very different match now. And this
140.
is by far the biggest leg of the match. Because if somehow Damon can win it, he would only need one more, but Price misses dart
139.
6.
He might not have had a chance to win it if that last start would have gone in. But Heta still can get himself down to a finish first.
Stay there, great lie.
100.
He does get to the finish first, but he was craving 1-2-1. Price is absolutely blistering that 60 right now.
104.
Everything is going right, and Heta is going to need something like this.
Yeah, he's found that purple patch, hasn't he? Heta hasn't had anything like this all day. What a time it would be to land a whopper.
113.
Just didn't give it enough at the bullseye, and now Price can pick his pocket and effectively take control of this final for the first time.
How big is this double top? Because Heta's on a checkout that involves a double 16. Oh,
38.
there's a shadow over it. He knows how big that shot was, and Damon knows how big this is. It will be 16 for double. 2 for it with a nice little bumper. Sandwich shot right in the middle. And it's in.
Shot.
7-5, and he stops the rot.
A little bit of aggression from Damon Heta there. You don't see that very often. Don't know if he was trying to aim it at Gerwyn Price. He went over the wrong shoulder if he was.
180.
But it hasn't put Price off his performance level. That could have been a crucial leg for Damon Heta there. A crucial dart double, having seen Price miss one to break him and tie the match up at 6 apiece.
I don't think there was any aiming of celebrations towards
97.
anybody. I think these two really do respect each other. Two of the best performers on the tour over the last couple of years.
140.
I don't think we can underestimate at all just what the contribution has been from Damon in the last 18 months since he's been a regular on tour.
140.
He needs 1. Price needs 3 straight.
Well, look, you were looking at as Price looks to set up a potential 10 darter.
141.
Are you looking at seedings for the European Tour? I'll quickly get it in before Price returns. And the likes of Ian White are not in the seedings. Just shows how proficient Damon Heta has been over the last year.
Absolutely right.
43.
He's a mainstay now. He's part of the furniture. Tops for a 10. Got time on his side.
Game shot.
But that's 1 down and 2 to go. After 4 or 5 legs, we thought Heta was strolling. But this is the beauty of what the PDC did in taking the semis and final to longer formats.
140.
In the olden days, job done.
Yeah,
You would have done it
6-2.
so much easier. But by making it best of 15, we have a very different complex.
95.
Heta on the edge of glory here in Barnsley against the world champion and world number 1 Gerwyn Price. He has a dart in this leg,
100.
and the way that Price has found a purple patch, he will not want to let it go to a last leg shootout. Well, put those through a polo
180.
mint. Price powers in a 180 to tap Heta on the shoulder.
It's up to Damon to get down to 121 here. Or just 161.
60.
He can't get there. And Price is in position to strike. He gets 2 trebles downstairs.
134.
And he's down to the 2 darter. What kind of pressure can Damo put on that 92? He's got to get to 96 minimum.
$139.
Price sent. Surely he'll go for the treble 20. He does. He finds it. 2 darts. A double 16. A double that's been so good to Damon
Game
Heta
shot.
in this match. But it's Gerwyn Price who pins it to take us all the way to a last leg shootout. And Price's level has just gone up and up and up throughout this match. He's now averaging 107 going into this final leg.
It's almost as if Price had hit the snooze button in the first 4 legs and Damo was already at work. But this is all about composure and belief. 1 leg to see who wins Players' Championship 21. It's been an absorbing final. I almost don't want it to end. Someone's got to win it though.
59.
And neither pick up a treble in their first visit.
A bit of tension. Well, that will relieve it. And how? As
180.
Price nails another maximum. He's closing in.
He is a good closer. Can he be followed?
99.
It's a decent response, but Price is closer to the finishing line than Damon is. And Heta now cannot leave a finish from 3-4-3.
97.
So this is extra time afforded for Price. He's got at least 6 darts from 164.
Well, somehow this has gotten away from Damon Heta. Remember, he
96.
led this Darts match 6-2. Gerwyn Price might fancy doing it in style. No, none of it. Professional job from Price.
124.
Really good thinking, because when you wake up in the morning, you think, I want 3 darts at tops if you get him in Price for the title. And this is going to give him huge confidence and belief to win from the position he was
100.
in a matter of a few minutes ago.
Game
And
shot.
Gerwyn Price does produce a comeback win to get the better of Heta and pick up his 20th PDC title. Price was 6-2 down in that final, but produced a stunning display, an average of 108 in the end. Damon Heta, well, that has got to hurt the heat, but it's a good run for him. A 5th final, but a 3rd defeat in PDC finals. Price picks up his first title since March, and the world number 1 is the number 1 here at the Super Series in Barnsley. We are going to catch a quick word with Gerwyn Price as Dan Dawson waits patiently for him. But it is a stunning display. 112 average in the semi-final, 108 average in the final. Paul, we'll just get a quick word from you while we wait for Gerwyn Price. What a performance.
Brilliant. And when you're under that kind of a position in that final, you just question what you're made of sometimes when you haven't won. But Dan's got the last word, and he gets it with our champion today, Gerwyn Price.
Congratulations. That, no hyperbole here, is one of the best comebacks we have ever seen in a final of one of these events. 4-0 down. The last 7 eggs, I've got no idea what you're averaging, probably about 120 odd. What did it feel like to play in?
Yeah, frustrating. Early on, I missed a couple of doubles. Yeah, he probably deserved to be, well, I don't know, maybe 2-all, I think, or he maybe 3-1 up. Yeah, I'm kicking myself and bombing opportunities, but yeah, it was a new set of darts for me today. Bit unusual, but I played well most of the day.
Well, most of the day. I mean, the first 3 games you've not averaged below 104. You came into that final after a stunning display against Ian White. When you're 4-0 down in that final, having just averaged 114 against Ian, how frustrating is that? And how hard is it to get back on track?
Yeah, but I knew if I hit my A game, that could happen. I could get back into the game, but it's just frustrating when you know how well you can play or how well you have been playing, and yeah, it just deserts you a little bit. But then, yeah, 4-0 down. Yeah, I never give up. I knew if I get it back, so that is level game, then I'll put him under it, and I did.
I mean, that you said, I knew my game. If I got my game back, that'd be there. But presumably, when you first started playing on the tour, I'm 4-0 down. You're not in the mental space to be able to get back to playing your A game. What have you learned in that time?
Yeah, but I mean, when I first started, I wasn't as good as what I am now, and I've learned never to give up. And I've been in situations where I've been in front 5-1s, 4-1s, and lost them. And I've been in this situation before. I've been in this situation today. It was 5-2 down against Carl Ritz, and I missed a couple of doubles, but I come back, fought my way back, and won that one. And I knew it. Like I said, if I find my game, then I'll get myself back in. Even if I was 7-0 down, I still believe I can win this game.
That's your first title since that sort of 3-month spell off when you weren't playing any darts in the Premier League and missed out on 4 of these in Germany. How important was it for you to get back and win something again quickly?
Yeah, no, I'm not. It doesn't bother me. Obviously, everyone wants to win and win tournaments, but I know I've been playing really, really well, and they've took some good performances to beat me, and that's the standard of darts these days. But yeah, I'm back in the winning circle, and I'm playing well, and it takes something special to beat me. But yeah, I dug in today, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And like I said, it takes something special these days to beat me, or someone just going really slow.
Okay. Look, Peter Wright's just won the match play. He won it fantastically. He played brilliantly all the way through the tournament. People go, oh, well, he's playing the best darts in the world at the moment. It must be satisfying to come here as world number 1 and go, hang about, don't forget about me.
Yeah, but not just Peter. I mean, everybody's playing really, really well. I mean, with a Keegan Brown today who hasn't played well all year, and he goes average 115, 16. I mean, people can pull you out of the bag. They can just play rubbish one game, 116. So you need to be on your game, every single game. Otherwise, you're just bombed out. And I would think I was quite fortunate to win this tournament today. It was a couple of games I could have lost, but yeah, I'm proud of myself. I dug deep, and there was a couple of situations where I was out of the tournament, but yeah, I got myself back in.
There's a really interesting fight going on over the next few months for that world number 1 spot between you and Peter Wright now. Now, I know you've only had it a few months, but I'm sure you'll be desperate to keep hold of it, won't you?
Yeah, I said even when I got there that it's going to be tough to stay there, and if Peter takes over me, then fair play to him. But I don't think if he does, I don't think he'll stay there very long because there's so many good players. But I think you need to win the Worlds, and he needs to back up winning the Worlds this year from 2 years ago to stay there. So yeah, anybody can be world number 1, but they just need to really play well.
Are you enjoying being where you are in this battle and being the guy to be shot at in world darts?
Yeah, but I'm there. I'm still top of the tree. I'm world champ, world number 1. I like to stay there as long as I can. But yeah, like I said, the standard's ridiculous, and yeah, Peter's chasing me. But I'll try and fend him off as much as I can.
Well, somehow Gerwyn Price fended off Damon Heta today. He's picked up his second Pro Tour title of the year. Some astonishing stuff all the way through the day. 107 odd average in the final there. We've seen 9 darters missed. We saw Jose de Sousa hit a 10 darter on the bullseye today. We will be back tomorrow, 12 noon start. Gerwyn Price looking to double up, and if he plays like he did today, he's got a very good chance. See you then.